Hey there, how's it going? Okay, I'm gonna do a little continuation of what I, oops, change the exposure there. A little continuation of what I was doing the other day with the pore filling. And I just thought I'd do a little bit of French polish, the basic process. But I'm gonna turn this around and just show you the guitar at the stage it's at right now. Okay, here she is. Okay, so you can see it's pretty shiny actually. You can see the reflection of that cloth there, but it's really a very thin coat. I've just put on, I don't pour fill the top, eh? There's just a light layer on everything. Um, I have, to be honest, today when I got home from the city, I sanded it down a little bit. There's just a few little bumps I wasn't happy with. Like there was something right in there. It's pretty good. It's tricky if you get too obsessive about perfectionism. But you want it to be as good as you can, right? But I thought I'd give you a quick look at the guitar itself at this stage. So here's the rosette. I was talking about that the other day. Flip this around. Yeah. Like I was saying, there's something about the randomness in nature. I'm not quite sure what words to use here. But anyway, obviously it's not a symmetrical piece, There's sort of symmetricality in it, in a sense, but for the most part it's not. It's, like branches in a tree or something. Typically what happens in a traditional classical or flamenco rosette is these are thin strips of bloodwood and flame sycamore or maple, one or the other, laid on edge, right? So lengthwise. Typically what would happen is they're about half a millimeter thick or so, and they'd be put on end and you get these beautiful patterns. I love rosettes like that, and I probably at some point will play around with that. But at this point, I'm really wanting to do this. So this is what my guitars are going with. I might, on the next ones, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might try 3 colors, or just 2 is great too. I love that, it's a little bit like woodblock prints, it makes me think of, or rough sketches, that kind of idea. You know what I mean? Not too cultivated, a little bit random. All those ideas go in there, And replicating that, you can see the binding and then the purfling. The purfling are the thin strips here, and then the binding's on the outside. Bloodwood and maple again. On the tail, what I've done, let's flip it. You can see the back. Here's the back. And the back's looking pretty darn good. It's quite holy. This one, you can see it's very smooth. When I put the back of my nail across it, I can feel the occasional little slight roughness, but I'm not going to get too crazy about it. I quite like it the way it is, and probably that will fill in a little bit at least as the French polish goes in. But you can see the back strip that I've done, which is blackwood and maple. And here's the treatment I did at the heel. And then I've kind of echoed that down at the tail here. Yeah. I love it. It's very simple. You can get very complex stuff going, and I love it all, Probably work on those at some point too. The neck here is Port Orford cedar. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous quarter sawn wood from North America. The back plate, the back veneer is the same wood as the back of the guitar. I've taped off the fingerboard, but you can see how it is. It's an ebony, but it's called Macassar ebony. Macassar. and it's got these nice striations which I like. And I actually asked for, when I ordered the fingerboards, I asked for them to be more, as dry as, what's the word, as contrasty as possible. And the frets I of course do myself, and I think I did a great fret job on this one. And here we've got the head plate is bloodwood, and the bridge will be bloodwood as well. Yeah. Okay, so that gives you an idea. One thing you'll hear people talk about is tap tones and things, and I've been tapping the wood all over it. Not so much that I'm trying to get particular pitches, but more just trying to learn the different sounds and things and the variety, I am sort of thinking about all that stuff a lot. Okay, so let's get down to the French polish. I'll put this on the tripod. Okay, I think that's a pretty good exposure. Oh, actually, you know what? Just let me bring over these bits so I can show you. Can you see that okay? Okay, I've got some amber shellac, de-wax, so 99% alcohol. But I found a place in Thailand that I can get it. I can get 96 as well. Yeah, and here's the I've got little flaky things. Okay, so here's my little rubbing thing. Okay, so basically I'll show you what I do, if you can see the exposure okay. And then I'll move these out of the way. 1, 2. I'm going to take some, and I used this just a little while ago, so it's got shellac and alcohol in. I'm going to put a little bit of shellac there. Move that over there. Maybe about the same amount of alcohol. So for those into shellac and all that, the shellac I made is a 2-pound cut, and with that amount of alcohol, it kind of takes it down to, I guess, around 1. I'll put a couple of dots of oil. I'm using olive oil here. And then what I'm going to do is can you see that? I'm just going to smack it down so I can see on my palm how much it's showing, and also to distribute all the shellac and stuff. Okay, can you see okay? Yep. Okay, so basically, hopefully, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the vapor trail. In certain angles, you can see a kind of swirl that follows behind the rubber. I can't remember. There's a pad or something. There's a name. Maybe it is rubber. I can't remember. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're doing. You can see that with the French polish, it goes on pretty darn thin. When you're doing it, you have to be very conscious of how it feels, you know what I mean? The bit of oil there is to sort of lubricate it. And if you feel it kind of catching as you go, then you can put a bit more on. But it's a little bit of a balancing act. You don't want to do too much oil, right? I'd say the minimum that you need. And I'm trying not to go over where I've gone too much. I mean, I've just gone over these, but it dries so fast. It dries in seconds, right? So I did this like 10 seconds ago. I can go back there and put it on. It's tempting to put more shellac on. Let's do it. More has got to be better. And I know better, but on occasion I still do that. I have to fight that urge to put more in. Okay, so that's good for that. And I'm just going to flip it. See the back okay? Yep. And actually, I wonder if I can, I'm not sure if this is going to show up. It's pretty subtle right now. But there's a bit right here, and a little bit over here, and a bit up here. But when I got back this afternoon, I had this on my list to do when I first got here. I got this You can't really see me. Okay. There was a bit of from the pumice, a bit too much buildup, so I'd used a bit too much pumice there. So I sanded that down, at least to the level where the pumice was sitting. I don't think I got right down to wood, but yeah. So I sanded that down, and now I just have to build that up. So I'll go back, fill it up a bit, do that, and then do the whole thing over again. You know what I mean? So there's more over the bulk of the body than those spots. So hopefully it'll just, by the time I'm done, it'll be even. That's my plan. But it's not very. I'm not very methodical. I'm just sort of going as I go, winging it as I go. The sides. It's a little bit dark, isn't it? Let's see if we can increase that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's a little tricky with the exposure here. A little jungle home. Yep, that's it. So I'll do this for, geez, I don't know. Probably do 3 sessions a day with an hour or 2 between each one. And, oh, I'm gonna sneeze, hang on. Excuse me. Yep, 3 sessions a day. Get a bit on the neck, and the tailpiece, and the headpiece. So I'll do that for 3-4 days, maybe more. So far, I'm kind of, this is gonna sound a little bit too woo-woo, but like on my other guitar, I just finished. I kind of went as far as I went. Oh, that's enough. I had this feeling. Oh, that's good enough. I mean, obviously you don't want to put too much on. Don't want to affect the sound, but I mean, also obviously this is so thin, right? You have to work pretty hard to get too thick a coat on. I'm trying to. It's interesting the tones that come out. Again, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. There's a little bit of a darker streak down here, and as I work with the shellac, when I was working with the wood, with it unfinished. Just change that exposure. Working with the wood unfinished, it was just pure white, Now I can see, it's changing as I go. So it's pretty interesting. The top on this is a double A grade Engelmann spruce, I think, and that's the grading that Luthier Mercantile has. LMI, where I buy my wood. It's a great shop in the States. Guys are really good. Guys and girls over there are really good, really helpful. And at this stage, there's just this tiny bit of shellac on here. And I'm kind of going over it. This just feels good to do it, I guess. But I'm actually kind of burnishing the surface, with this just tiny bit left in this. It's interesting, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a slight difference in texture here, and that's where I was doing the sanding, and I have to see how it goes. Same on this one. It might just mean more layers, but it also might mean at some point me going back just to sand that down a touch, just to get it just that little bit smoother. Yeah. This is just about it. Just a short one today. No playing today. Anyway, I love doing this. I love doing the French polish thing. Let's put that back in the container and stop it for. Okay, yeah. So I really like doing the French polishing. Uh, it's very it's a little, well, it's meditative, and I love tasks like that, you know. But I can see why some people that are into more production type things, who's going to spend a week finishing an instrument, right? But for me, that's sort of my MO is I work very slowly. I'm never going to have a big production, you know. I'd be surprised even if I get people buy my instruments and sort of know if I do more than, I don't know, 10 a year is probably enough. Anyway, we'll see how that all goes. But I don't think I'd ever do a factory type situation, you know. I'm gonna flip it. Yeah, I don't see as how I'd ever do any sort of even small production type things, you know. That's not how I work. Pretty cool though. You can really see the reflection, even at this stage. You know, I still got 2 days of doing this, right? So, you know, 2 days, 3 times a day, at least, probably 3 actually, I would think. I want to make this one really good. And then, you know, each one gets covered over a bunch of times on each session, right? Yeah. Anyway, a lot of this stuff is about me living here. This is where I live, you know, look at the stream right by the house. It's about me living in nature as much as anything. It's like the instrument making here, you know, I'm just getting going on guitars at the moment, but of course I've been making choras and shamisen. Yeah, choras and shamisen for quite a while, and definitely since I got here 3.5 years ago, but longer than that for sure. Yeah, so I don't know, just what I'm doing, helps keep me going. Yeah, what can I say? It's a nice life. I like it. Okay, anyway, I hope this finds everyone great, and talk to you all soon. Bye.